Hello, everybody. Andy Jacob here with the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. What a show today. I've been waiting for this show for a number of weeks, and I have to tell you, when we get a worldwide leading expert in a particular space on the show, these are remarkable opportunities to really learn so much. And one thing that is on everybody's mind right now, I was just out to dinner last night with my wife, and the entire conversation around the table was about real estate. And of course, people are talking about real estate investing and what they should do. And, we spoke about people making money in real estate investing and what's it all about. And we talked about the housing market, the condo market. We talked about land. It was just a great conversation around the table. And it was just so timely because this morning I have one of the preeminent experts in real estate investing, real estate, what it's all about. He is really a go-to leader. He has his own events. He has his own podcast. He has books. You can't, if I'm going to spend the whole entire 30 minutes talking about all the things that Chris Prefontaine, the founder and CEO of Smart Real Estate Coach, has done in his life with real estate investing and helping others to make money in real estate, I'd be talking the whole time, and I don't want to do that. So, Chris, I'm going to stop right now, and we're going to get into it. Welcome to the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series.
Thanks, buddy. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to hopefully deliver some cool nuggets with you.
I love it. You're a powerful guy. You're very positive. You really look at real estate in a very unique way. You've got a coaching aspect where you've helped so many people throughout the years make money in real estate with this very interesting approach that you have. But before we get started, Chris, let's pull the lens back to 30,000 feet. Tell us about the Smart Real Estate Coach and how it all works, and then we're going to get into it.
Sure thing. Yeah, thanks. I'll be brief because 31 years would take me more than the show, right? So Smart Real Estate Coach was born, so to speak, out of the crash of '08. And I got my brains beat in financially and otherwise. And so I said, there's got to be a better way. We started buying and selling property without using banks or money because I had neither or credit. And then we started getting a demand all over the country and into Canada to teach others how to do the exact same thing. We were super frustrated with what's out there in the education space because they sell, but they don't do deals. Literally, people get stuck in this gap. And so we're all about helping people do deals in the field. And when I say we, it's a family company. You've met my son. And so we're very high touch, high family oriented, and get deals done.
Yeah, I love it so much. And one thing that I love about what you've been able to put together is you're a guy who really believes in putting your money where your mouth is. And it's just incredible the way that you've done that. And people really love that. And that resonates for people. Let's talk about that. Where did that come from? Was that something that started younger or was that something that developed after the crash that you said, I think we can help so many people. We'll put our money where our mouth is and we'll help so many entrepreneurs and aspiring sort of real estate people get to where they want to go in their lives?
I think it was before and after. It was magnified after because I was in a mode of, oh gosh, it must be me. It must not be the market. Of course, it was a national crisis, but I thought it was me. And then I figured out after I started dabbling online that there is no, I want to go fast, and you can't go fast without someone being on your shoulder, in my opinion. You can go through a course fast and then you go out in real life and you go, it's not that rosy anymore. That's just life. They show you all the good stuff. We peel back the curtain, we dive in the trenches, and I just wanted that for us, for our family team, and then I wanted it for students. I didn't want to sell stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does, 100%. Let's talk about it. What types of people are coming to you, Chris, and they say, hey, we've heard about you, we've read the reviews, you're everywhere. We've watched your videos, we've read your books. We want in. What does that first conversation sound like?
Yeah, it's two different types of people to the beginning of that comment. This is very good. One is because of what I said, struggling, I'll use the word struggling, and frustrated investors trying to make their way in. That's one. Second one, this was driven by COVID and great in a lot of senses. And that is corporate America, as you know, like a mass exodus. It's been like a 200,000% increase in entrepreneurship. And so they're coming in that way going, show me how to do my own business. I had income, I got retirement, but I need to really replace a 6 or 7 figure income. And we're getting a ton of that right now. And those are just super people to work with. That's what I'm seeing. As far as what we do next, as you said, well, There's a lot of free stuff, Andy. I'm big on free because I want someone going free and then going, I get it. Now I'm committed. Not, I'm going to dip my toe in the water and try. Try doesn't work. This doesn't work. So that's what we see. A lot of free stuff online, on YouTube, on books, like you mentioned, but then they can dive into our courses and into our hands-on coaching. We got it all.
Yeah, I love it, Chris. I mean, you're very, very accessible. I mean, your social media, you're very, strong, not only with your website, but you have a well listened to podcast. Your Facebook page is well trafficked. You're all over YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and the like. One thing though that really kind of caught our attention was the strategy call. I mean, that really seems interesting. It almost seems like an action step that people can take to sort of start getting some strategies from you about what that bright future might look like sort of under your umbrella. Let's talk about that strategy call and what that sounds like.
Yeah, so this is interesting because the strategy call is one of the many things we do that are free, that some of our competition, frankly, some of our students go, how do you guys do, why do you do all this free stuff? One of them is that call. We have one goal in the call, and it's only myself, Peter, or my son-in-law, Zach. So it's very tight. I want to talk to people. And on that call, it's, where are you now, Andy? Where, if you could snap your fingers in the real estate world, where do you want to be? And then we just go into what's blocking it. There's got to be something blocking it. It's going to be time, money, your confidence, your baggage, whatever. I had baggage. So we peel back what's stopping you. We start working on solutions, and we send you off with some strategy or resources or both. Yeah,
it's super cool. And then you have the master class. And in this master class, we were looking into it, and it looks like to us that you teach the exact techniques that, you and your family have used very successfully to buy and sell homes every single month all across North America. And it's very interesting that you give that out in the masterclass. Let's talk about that. Who's now joining the masterclass? You mentioned sort of, the C-level executives and people that are looking for their next evolution of sort of their business life joining, but you also have people that are maybe just starting out, younger people joining the masterclass. Maybe they aspire to become something greater than what they currently are experiencing in their own lives.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. So a 20-year-old approached me the other day. I was getting a haircut, and he said, what the heck do you do? He saw me drive up, and he's coming to our community. But there's many examples of that where they write to us from a college and say, I want to be an apprentice, or I want to get in your program. And we have kids between 18 and 25 doing deals. And you're not talking small deals. Just to put some context to this, across the country on what we call our three-payday system we've trademarked, people are averaging like 45 to 250 grand per deal. You talk about that at that age, that's not a game changer. That's a life changer. So yeah, we do have all different ages. Most of our people come to us brand new too.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And of course, we know from interviewing so many high profile CEOs and founders that many people, Chris, have different risk tolerances. They have different habits, different work ethics. Their schedules are a little bit different. Is this something where people have to go all in 100%, like full force, 20 hours a day as part of, to be successful under your masterclass umbrella? Is this something they could start with, learn a little bit and then grow into it as they go?
Yeah, no, this is great because in the masterclass I cover this is got to be the biggest question I get asked. Oh, Chris, I don't have full time. Who the heck has full time sitting around financially independent looking for something to do? It's not the case. So with the exception of maybe 2 people out of several hundred in our highest level program, there's no experience when they come on board, and there's no time. No one has time. Most recent example is Brian. He was an elevator salesman, not real estate, for 17 years. And we helped him get a strategy that, given that he's on airplanes every other week, missing family, how can we transition him away from that? But at the same time, replace a 6 approaching 7-figure income. That wasn't easy. He did it in like 17 months, Andy, his example. I'm not saying everybody can do that. Please don't misunderstand me. But he was extremely coachable, and we helped him do that. So that's the norm, actually, in our community. It's just a matter of how long it takes.
Yeah, I love it. Now, you mentioned the 3 paydays. I think you have that trademarked. I love that so much. When we think about a real estate deal, oftentimes you think, you get paid one time. But in your particular process under the masterclass, there's other ways in which it looks like people get paid. They get 3 paydays instead of 1. Let's talk about that because that's fascinating.
Yeah, so that came out of the frustration of the '08 crash too. You and I are probably big proponent. Like, where does progress take place? When you have a headache. right? So the crash was ugly, and that made me say, all right, every January, I would literally say to myself, oh, I got to reset the clock. I got to go do exactly what I did. That was like frustrating because that's work. That's a job. Now we get paid, but by the way we exit a deal, we get paid right away when we do a deal up front. We get paid monthly. That's cool. That covers overhead and personal bills. And then we get paid long-term. So that kind of covers any business. It covers a cool model, but in real estate, it covers the people that like the quick flips because it's a quick check, like the long-term cash flow, like if you were buying and holding, but like the long-term wealth if you were buying something for that. It's the ideal model. And yeah, we trademarked that federally, and it's working tremendously well. So you get off the treadmill eventually.
I love it. And of course, Chris, one thing when we think about real estate, I've done real estate deals. I bought homes, sold homes. There's a lot of paperwork. A lot of it, is done, digitally now. The people that are sort of looking at this as the next evolution of their life, they want to come into your master class. They love what they're hearing. How does all of the paperwork happen? I mean, there's checklists and there's contracts. Is this something that you provide or at least give them access to so that they have access to, the paperwork that's involved in a real estate deal?
Yeah, one of the courses we have, which lives online, I hesitate to call it a course because it's more of a resource center. After you learn it, you go back. It's always changing. Well, module 11 to be exact, out of the 11 mods is all the forms and contracts we use. Like I'm talking like 13 years worth of stuff that we've tweaked in our own business because we are in the trenches. And just so everybody knows, like you're saying master's class, that's free. That's another free resource. And then if you decide, then you go ahead and commit and you get all the other stuff. Sure. But that's a free class that Andy and I are talking about because, again, I want you to have an overview. If you can deal with my New England accent for an hour, you can go to the class for free.
I love it. I mean, it's free. It's unbelievable. You give the secrets away. Let's talk about it because in real estate, investing in real estate, Chris, sometimes, things go wrong. Is this something that you expose your clients to and that you teach them about so that they know how to get through the potholes that you and your team have already experienced?
Yeah, so a couple of things come to mind. One is a whole chapter in my book called What Can Go Wrong. Like I expose it. I was criticized for that by other educators. They said, you're going to scare them. I said, no, I'm going to tell them what happens when life hits you. We also on YouTube list like 150 of these deals that have the 3 paydays so they can see them. We show you our deals on a whiteboard, and there's a lot of headaches in there to help you avoid them should you decide to work on your own and not come to us. I want you to know what's out there. So yeah, we expose everything. Every week we're doing deals, and because no real estate deal is the same, after 31 years, I can tell you I still get curveballs, and we bring them to the community every Thursday night on what we call a Wicked Smart Sit Down. We go, hey, this is what happened this week. Here's how we dealt with it. Here's how you can deal with it.
I love it. No rest for the wicked smart. I love the shirt. I need to get one of those shirts. I'm going to wear it around. I mean, I'll just wear it around my apartment. I mean, I love it. Now, let's talk about debt. I mean, a lot of people are saying to themselves, do I have to go into debt? What am I leveraging? What am I betting? What am I, what's my risk tolerance? In your course, in your master class, I mean, can a real estate investor really get involved without debt?
Yeah, I forbid it, frankly, in my community. Like, unless you're doing a personal residence and you have to be in a certain neighborhood at a certain time for your kids or something, okay, sign on debt if you want and get a mortgage. But the way we buy, you will not ever sign personally on debt. You won't take out debt, and you won't use exorbitant amounts of your cash. You use very limited to no cash. There are exceptions where you might need a few thousand here and there, but usually it's no money down. I gave you the example earlier of Brian, the elevator. He'd kill me if I said elevator salesman, but he did his first 11 deals with our lease purchase contracts with a $10 deposit pre-written and built in, and generated over 1.1 million, Andy, in 3 paydays. It doesn't happen today. It's over time. But he did that with $10 deposits on 11 deals each. He spent $110. That's no exaggeration. That's how they're done.
That's unbelievable. And of course, we're going to put all the links below for the people to take advantage of all of these free offerings that Chris has become known for throughout the country. And then obviously, if it connects with you and it resonates for you and something inside says, yeah, this is for me, then obviously, you can advance the process. Let's talk a little bit about it because, one thing that you do very, very well is you take a very complex sort of transaction and you've simplified it for pretty much anybody to understand and anybody sort of to approach. What's that look like in your mind? I mean, when you were growing up, were you able to take complex situations and turn it into the simple? Have you always been able to explain things concisely to people, or is that something that you developed as you've gone across your entrepreneurial journey?
I think the latter. I wish I could tell you I had this all in my brain, but I didn't. And so it's just organically developed. I call it stacking, Andy, because when someone comes in, depending on how fast or slow they're running, they're all different to what you alluded earlier. They're going to bring on certain skill sets, right? And then we're going to do what we call stack as we see the next step very, very clearly for them. And I got to tell you, it's not about just the skill level and explaining how a deal works. I wish it were that easy. The reason people come out of the gate and do a deal in 30 days, or some take 365 days for their first deal, is because there's other components in there. We call it our genius model. There's skill set, three legs: skill set, systems, and mindset. And unfortunately, many people don't realize mindset's a big piece of it. The baggage we had, the habits we had. So we do stack, and it's not something I could always do. I just take the same philosophy myself and stack as I learn and get better and better.
Yeah, it makes sense. I love it. Stacking. I mean, no rest for the wicked smart, and stack it up. You're probably stacking those bills up as well as you're doing these deals. Now, let's talk about, you give these great events. You're known for these events. You've got an event coming up. Let's talk about that. What does someone learn at the event, and how do they come? How do they sign up for it?
Yeah, they can go to qlslive.com, and it's in Rhode Island. It's here in Rhode Island. It's a great time to be here, September 14 and 15. VIPs will stick around. I welcome you to stick around. But here's what they're going to walk away with, Andy. There's a few things. Brand new or experience. You'll walk away empowered because we show deals. We actually will introduce you to our dream team. We haven't been live since 19 because of COVID. We're doing the virtual events. People speaking that would get your attention would be the likes of David Nurse, MBA, efficiency coach. He works with people making 10 or 15 million. He's doing the keynote. That's day one. Peter Taunton, one of our partners, built the biggest fitness brand in the world. He'll be there. He'll be elbowing with you. And make no mistake about it, who you hang out with, like what you come away from this event, really matters. There's going to be some powerful people in the room. And Brian, who I just mentioned, and other people like that will be in the room, and you can pick their brain. That's invaluable. Now, what's on stage will be good too. But you're going to get some serious relationships and some serious skill sets by walking out of that room. I can guarantee you that. Yeah,
I love it, Chris. It really makes sense. And you really surround yourself with top performers. People of excellence, leadership at the highest level. When we think about mentorship, Chris, you mentor so many people, but how important is mentorship to you? You have people that you lean on. You have people that maybe provide you the type of support that you provide others. How important is mentorship to the entire sort of entrepreneurial journey? If you're speaking, let's say, to a younger entrepreneur that wants to know about it.
I think it's absolutely critical. And I wish I could say it in a stronger way. Why? Success leaves clues. Every time our company and then individuals in the company, we have a thing every trimester where we say, what's next for us? Like, what are we missing? What's the gap? What's the blockage? As I said earlier, and whatever it is, we seek out that coach. At one time it was scaling. We seeked out an organization we're still with that could teach you to scale properly. Most recently, it was our sales funnels and some of the things we're working on. We seek that out. We literally just hired them. It's critical. Here's what I tell young people. I don't care if you can do real estate or not. I do. I'd love you to. But if you don't, there's 3 simple steps you'll win with. I don't care what industry. 1, pick an industry or something you can get behind. 2, pick someone in that industry or niche or whatever that has seasoning. They've been through cycles, economies, personal challenges. And then 3rd, put the blinders on for 3 years. Like, I don't care what you do. You can't dip your toe in. Put your blinders on for 3 years. If you do those 3 steps, it sounds simple, but you'll have a great experience. That's how I tell the new person, the young person.
Yeah. Wow, that's great advice. And I can see that being part of, the next book that you're going to write. And, you touch on all of these in the seminars and the free, master classes. It's remarkable. Now, let's talk to the younger entrepreneurs a little bit more. You've got this rich experience. For the younger entrepreneurs that are hitting a roadblock, let's say they're on their journey, Chris, but they're hitting a pothole or maybe a wall. They can't get through it. They freak out, freeze in the frame. You know how people freeze in the frame sometimes.
Yep.
What types of advice can you give to them about how to get through those tough times?
Well, I hate to sound even remotely redundant, but I promise you, whatever you think is tough, because I thought I had it tough after 2008, losing millions of dollars and really being a mess. There's someone that's already done it. Sadly, that's like they've been through it. And all you got to do is go ask them how to deal with it. Now, I know that sounds simple, but Google it, go on YouTube. You will find someone who has experienced what you did already and can help you successfully come out of it. They don't have their head in the sand still. They came out of it. So seek them out. And no, it doesn't always cost you money. If you picked up a book and that resonated, reach out to the author. If you saw a video online and it resonated, reach out to the author. I'll give you a quick example. I saw a story about a gentleman who had his Humvee in the military blown up. And he was burned 98 or 92% of his body. I saw it on the news. I reached out to him. I got his team and I, had him come speak at one of our events. And we have a relationship. Just pick up the phone. People want to talk to you. They want to hear from you being sincere to them.
I love it, Chris. And of course, one thing that really makes me think about the process that you have and the process that you have to get people to become successful. You have this mission that you offer so much value up front. You have this belief that you just give so much value. For example, you can get the instant real estate investor blueprint for free, just by going to your website. And then you give them more free value and master classes for free. Where did that come from? Is that something you learned on your own, or did you see another person do that or another entrepreneur do that you said to yourself, wow, if I give a lot of value up front, then at the end, there's going to be a reward?
I saw the opposite happening in this industry and other industries. I saw people saying, here's the course and all these promises. And then I was confused when I was in it and I couldn't get support. Then I saw, till this day, I'll go on and it'll say free book. This is why I give our book away free, the hardcover copy. I'll go on and say free book. I do it. I say I'm on my phone or something, or I'm traveling. And then you get to the screen, it says, oh, put in $8 for shipping. I don't want to do that. You told me it was free. So I want to make sure everything we do is truly free. And we spend a lot of money doing that. We ship a package out, Andy, that costs like $25 with books and everything. Why? Because I told you it's free. It's no shipping.
Yeah, I love it. Listen, one thing that happens oftentimes with entrepreneurs, in different spaces and verticals, Chris, is they get so ingrained in their technology and their offering and what they've got that they forget about the client. They forget about the people on the end that are the ones actually receiving the value, receiving the service or the product. One thing that you've done, which of course has just taken over, is that you look at the client as a real person. You sort of take yourself and put yourself in their shoes. Like you just said, when something's free, but then they kick in for $8, you say to yourself, that's not free. Let's talk about that. How important is it to be genuine? How important is it as an entrepreneur to really be real, say the real thing, and then get it done and deliver on your promises?
I think it's critical. One of the biggest things people get out of the event is that they'll come up to us now that you say that, because we haven't been live since 19, and they'll say, oh, you guys are really what you say you are, and you do what you say you're going to do. And then we go to dinner with them when they come visit. It's part of what they can do. They come to an office visit and see what we're all about. And I go, tell the people what you think. Well, you guys just did what you told me to do. Like, you're just real people. So I think that everybody will see that if they come to the event for sure, or when they come to the event. And to answer your question, it's important so much so that one of our values, we have 4 or 5. One of them is conducting all transactions with the highest integrity. It's super important. So we've backed out of deals if that was challenged, or we've not even brought on a client, Andy, which most coaches would say, what? Somebody wants to pay you, you won't accept them? Nope, not if they don't live the values. Very important.
Yeah, it's so great. And of course, I know you've only cut out a certain amount of time. I'm indulging myself a little bit more than usual, keeping you over time, but I have a couple more questions, and I'm going to bring you back on the show because I want to unpack sort of what the deal looks like from A to Z, but we don't have time for that today. But for people wanting to know, check Chris out, go get all of his free offerings. I mean, it's remarkable. Of course, your company, you're winning Inc. 5,000 awards year after year, and you've won other awards as a great place to work. Let's talk about the team before I let you go. How important is the team to your company? In other words, you've surrounded yourself with a great team. You've got a great family behind you. Let's talk about the team and how important that is to have a successful business.
Yeah, the team drives the revenue, right? We have 3 family members and we have 15 other members in the team. And I say the team drives revenue because the solopreneur moving into entrepreneurship, or the business owner now, sometimes will look at an employee and say, oh, I don't know if I can afford it. Well, when it's done properly and you invest in them, we invest heavily in the team and leadership and skill sets and everything else, they'll drive revenue, not cost, but drive revenue. So we watch our per employee revenue, for example, and it's always super positive. That's how I look at it. So my job as founder and CEO now that the company's bigger is to do what? Coach the employees, not my clients. Coach the employee and team members every day, all day to get better and better and to invest in them still. We invest a lot of money to the tune of $5, $6, $7 grand a month sometimes to help them get better at what they want to do.
I love it, Chris. And of course, you mentioned earlier that, we've had Nick, your son, on the show. I mean, what a great entrepreneurial journey he's had, and what a great life journey he had with, having a terrible ski accident when he was younger, and he was paralyzed from the neck down, and he came back all the way, and now he's talking to different people about empowering their lives based on his experience. For the people watching the show, if you haven't seen Nick's interview, watch it. But I bring that up because of the fact that it just runs in the family, this great get it done attitude. Can't isn't a word I would imagine, that is allowed in the Prefontaine family. I think it's can, and you can do, and you can go. So I wanted to thank you so much for coming on the show, Chris. We're going to put all the links below. I'm going to bring you back on, and we're going to dissect a complete real estate deal together. But this has been fantastic. And thanks so much for coming on the .com Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today.
Love it. You're awesome. Thanks for having me.